For my third instructional video, I found a program that is called Math Open Reference. So I'm going to type in Math Open Reference and click on it, and it brings up the Math Open Reference application, and I'm going to click on that, and it brings us up a list of different areas. We have algebra, plane geometry, constructions, coordinate geometry, solid geometry, trigonometry, calculus, and some extra tools that we can use with this. So I'm going to go through a couple of things. I'm going to start with plane geometry, and we're going to look at parallel lines first. So if I click on parallel lines and we go into this, and within this I'm going to look at, say, the interior angles of a transversal on parallel lines. When I click on that, it brings us up and it shows that the interior angles of parallel lines cut by a transversal always add up to be 180 degrees. And we have some orange dots here, and if we click on one of the orange dots, we're able to drag the transversal, and anywhere we release it at, you can see that the two interior angles add up to be 180 degrees if the two lines are parallel. And if we click the next AR, it shows the angles on the opposite side, which are also 154 and 126. All right, so if I drag it back across there, again, we come down, say 112 and 68. Again, the angles add up to be 180 degrees. If we click on one of the two parallel lines on the orange dot and we move that, we can see that the lines are not parallel, and we also can see that the two angles do not add up to be 180 degrees. Now, if I pull this back down, same thing's taking place right there. You can see the lines are not parallel, and 103 and 68 do not add up to be 180. So bringing that back up, when we get it up to 112, we have that we are back to parallel lines, and the interior angles are adding up to be 180. I'm going to do the same thing with another one here. We're going to look at the alternate interior angles, and the alternate interior angles are always the congruent on parallel lines, which means they're the same. So if we look at this, we have 110 on both sides, and if we click the next AR, that puts them on the other side. That means they're 70 on the other side. And again, same thing. We can grab a hold of the orange dot and drag that and see that indeed the alternate interior angles are always congruent if the lines are parallel to each other. And by the same token, if we grab over here the orange dot on P and we start making these lines not parallel, you can easily see that the two interior angles are not the same. So, and if we click on the other side, those are not the same either. So putting the orange dot back to where they're congruent to each other, you'll see that also on the 117, there's a little slash in the arc there, and that's a geometry term to indicate that the two angles are congruent to each other. Next, I'm going to look at, we're going to look at, say, a construction, and in the construction table of contents, we have several different items we can go to. So we're going to go to the perpendicular bisector of a line segment. And if we click on this, it brings it up and it says click next or run to begin. So I'm going to click on run. And if I click on run, it brings us up a diagram, and the computer does this itself, but it shows the construction of how to do a perpendicular bisector. So like if we went through this in class and the students didn't understand it, they could go through this back at home to maybe get some further instruction to be able to complete their constructions if that was what we were asking them to do for the day. And then you can scroll down in this, and it gives you some reasons and rationales through some proofs to exactly why why the construction that just took place is the perpendicular bisector of the segment. So again, this is a new tool for me, but just looks like it would be a very good one to use in the classroom in all areas, but again, especially possibly in the geometry classroom. So my targeted area audience again would be the students of our school and also the teachers of our school, to understand that these tools are available for us to use out there. Thank you.